Okay, so last week we talked about some things, and we're going to continue on with that today. And I'm going to turn on my camera so you can see me, and we'll be looking at screens most of the time, but we'll start out here. Lisa is in Cancun this week with some friends, so I'm home alone and I'm doing this. And she was going to try and join in if she can get Wi-Fi, but don't know if she'll make it or not. But anyway, so what we're going to do is, first of all, we had some homework, and that was number one, to figure out how many consultants you enrolled. Why does that say next year? It should be last year, sorry. How many team members you added to levels 2 and 3 last year, and how many new customers you added last year. Now, if you don't have that, don't worry about it. You can do that later. But if you have it, then we'll be able to plug some numbers in. If not, we'll just guesstimate with some numbers. These are just for you. You're not going to be sharing these with anybody, and so don't worry about that. Don't be embarrassed by any numbers. But anyway, to get started, I wanted to show you something. This is a graph or a chart of Apple stock. And if you know me, you know I love Apple, and I buy all their products and I own their stock. But this is something that's kind of interesting. I do some trading in the stock market and currency market and different places like that. And there's something that happens in trading or in stocks and any financial markets. You can see this. This is kind of moving up. I'm going to get a drawing tool. You can see the overall the stock. Their stock is kind of moving up. It comes down a little. It moves up. And then we have these levels, and we call them resistance. And you can see there's a level here, and there's a level here. And these are determined from past history of the stock and other things. But what happens is when a stock or a currency or a bond or any kind of financial asset or vehicle hits these resistant levels, it tends to bounce. You can see it hits it here and it bounces down. And then it hits it again here and it bounces down. And it hits it again here and it bounces down. And that's very normal for when it happens. And what it takes in order for that to break through and reach a new level is some event or action to happen. It could be, in the case of a stock like Apple, it could be that they announce a new product, and that could cause a breakthrough. Or it could be that China and the United States agree to reduce tariffs, and that creates a breakthrough because people know Apple's going to be able to sell more products in China. Or it could be their earnings announcement, which I think they're doing tomorrow, and they could announce their earnings were stronger than expected, and that could create a breakthrough. So lots of things can create a breakthrough, but when that happens, what typically happens is then, so you can see this is where we were looking, where it bounced, and then once it creates a breakthrough, it goes pretty easily to the next resistance level. And then when it gets to that next resistance level, it does the same thing. It'll start to bounce, and it'll kind of bounce off that resistance. And then it takes some action or event or something to cause it to break through. You can see it bounces, it bounces, it bounces the same way it did back down here. Bounce, 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 bounce. And then what happens is it breaks through again, and it takes off and goes to another resistance level. Well, that's very similar to how it is in life or in our business. When you start bumping up against something, when you're stuck in a rut, stuck somewhere, it creates some action or event in order for you to create a breakthrough so you can go to the next level. And then you're going to maybe go without much resistance, and then you're going to hit another level, and then you're going to bump into that. And then you got to figure out what action you can take to break through and go to the next level. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about today, is how to create that breakthrough. So I'm going to get rid of this. And I put out a link in Million Dreams team to this Google Drive. And I created a folder, and it's got some documents in it. The first one we're going to do is this exponential growth worksheet. So if you had a chance to print it out or if you have maybe reduce this down and look at your screen, you could pull it up on your screen, however you want to do it, or you can just watch and then you can go through after. But I think you'll get the most out of it if you actually go through it with me, because I'm going to walk you through how to do this, okay? So I'm going to open up exponential growth worksheet. Again, if you want to, if you don't have the link, let me just get the link real quick and share it here in, I'm going to share it here in the chat. So you should be able to click on that. If you don't have the link available, you should be able to click on that link and get it. And then you can, what you want to do once you're here is you want to download this. You don't want to start typing right into this sheet, because this is the one everybody's going to use. So you would, like, if once you open this exponential growth sheet, double click on that. What you want to do is go to File and then go to Download. It's not letting me do that because it's not loading properly, but you would go to Download and you would download this worksheet and then download it to your computer and then start making the changes. Okay, so what this is taking this worksheet, and you can, if you do it in the Google Doc, assuming it works for you, you can just plug in the numbers into these white boxes and it will do all the calculations. If not, then you can print it off and you can do it that way, just writing them in. But what you do is you put in here the number of consultants that you enrolled last year personally. So let's just say that was, 10, just to make the numbers easier. Okay, if you did 10 last year, and then your number of customers, new customers that you added just last year, let's just say that was 30. Okay, so you would enter a 10 and a 30 here. If you were to just do this little increase, 10% in these 4 areas, it would create a 33% overall growth in your business. If you were to do a 20%, a 70, almost 73, and if you were to do 30%, almost 120. So by doing 30% increase in these areas, you could increase your business by more than double. Now, again, the dollar amounts are just for reference. If you can figure out what your value is, then that will help you to identify, this a little bit better, what the dollars would mean. But as you move up, these numbers are going to change because you're going to become higher ranks, and then you're going to get paid more in your downline. And if you hit business builder, you get paid out more. So it's hard to really, it's almost, I thought almost impossible or not worth the effort to figure that out. What's important are these percentage increases that you can create in your business. So this top part is just for you to get some reference of what you could do. And so if you were to do a little bit more, what would the numbers be? Now, the next thing we want to do is this next box down. Let's say you look at this and you say, okay, I did 10, I recruited or enrolled 10 new consultants last year. There's 2 ways you could look at this. You could say, okay, I think I could do 13, so I'm going to go with a 30% increase. And you could enter that there and have 13. You could also say, you know what, I did 10, that was lame. I think I could do 20 this year. So if you do that down here, that's going to give you the percent increase. This is just kind of a calculator tool I created. And so I could say, you know what, I want to do 100% increase here, because I 10 or 20 or 30%, I know with a little more effort, I could do a lot more. I could double that. So I'm going to say, I'm going to do 100%. Or maybe your number last year, maybe you enrolled 0 or 1 or 2. If I did 1, well, doing a 30% increase is going to give me 1.3. That's not very exciting. But I could say, you know what, last year I did 1, and this year I want to do 5, and that's a 400% increase. So I'm going to do that. So these are just numbers for you to play around with and kind of figure out. So what I want you to do is take whatever you did last year, and if you don't know, if you can guess, you can probably guesstimate about how many consultants you enrolled last year. Figure out what you want to do for next year. And this number should be something that's very achievable, that you know what, if I just work at this and do some things that I should do, I know I could hit this number. It shouldn't be a pie in the sky. It should just be a reasonable number that I know I can hit that number with some effort, okay? So going back, I'm going to just use this 10 again. And let's just say that I say, you know what, I think I can do 20 this year. So I'm going to go, I did 10 and I'm going to do 20. So that's 100% increase. I'm going to go with 100%. So if your numbers are fairly small, 1, 5, 10, maybe you're going to go with just a number saying, I want to go from 10 to 20 or 20 to 30 or 10 to 15. If your numbers are pretty high, like maybe Jody, maybe you enrolled, 50 people, maybe you want to go with the percent. You want to say, you know what, I'm going to increase that by 20% or 30%. So either way you can look at it, but either an increase in percentage or just pick a number you want to do. I want to go from 10 to 20. Okay. Nicola, that's fine. That you got to start somewhere, And so Nicola says that she had 0. She just signed up in December, and that's fine. So you're just going to use a number. You're going to say 0, and then I want to do 5, 10, 3, 20, whatever it is this year. Okay, and we're going to get to how we do that in a few minutes. Okay, the next area is customer increase. Again, you can do a percentage. You can say, okay, now if you had a lot of customers, like let's say you did a 50 or 100 or 200, then it's probably going to be better just to go, you know what, I want to increase that by 20% or 30%. If you didn't had very many customers, maybe you just want to say this year I want to do 30 customers. And if I did 5 last year, that's a 500% increase. So I'm going to put 500 here. So again, just enter those numbers. Okay, this is one you're probably going to want to do an increase because you probably don't even know what this is, what this number is. But you could say, you know what, whatever my value of a customer and consultant is to me, I want to increase that. And we're going to talk in a few minutes about how you can increase that. You could say, you know what, I want to increase it by 10%, 20%, 30%. Let's just, for this, say, I'm going to increase that area by 20%. And then my team. So whatever my team was, let's just say that my team last year increased by 30, which is the number here. And I want to increase it. Again, you can use a percentage or you could use a number. Let's just say that I want to double that this year. I want to do 60. So that would be 100% increase. So if I put 100 here, okay, that's going to give me 1,100% growth for the year. So you can see just by doing these numbers, I'm going to create 1,100%. So basically 11 times growth. I mean, more than 10 times growth in my business. And again, how that relates to your income is a little bit different because you're going to, as you move up, you're going to get paid deeper ranks. You're going to hit business builder more often. And so this number is not, it's just kind of representing if it was 2,000 where it could go. Don't worry about it. This doesn't mean I'm going to make 24,000. This just is a number. Okay. So what I want you to do is kind of take some time after we're done and go through and plug these numbers, play around with them, and figure out what you want to do. So the numbers in this box right here are going to end up basically being your goals for this coming year. And your goals could be percentage or they could be numbers, but I want you to have both of those numbers. Okay. The next thing that we're going to do, we're going to go back to that Google Drive that I shared. And we're going to open in the Creating Exponential Growth folder. Now, these next few things we're going to go through pretty fast because you're going to want to spend some time and go through this after. But you're going to go to this number 2, compelling reasons, which is basically your why. Okay, so I'm going to open that, and you should print this off. And then what you're going to do, figure out what your compelling reasons are for wanting to achieve the numbers that we just went over in that worksheet. What you want to do is brainstorm all the compelling reasons and extraordinary benefits that you will experience by making this exponential growth actually happen in your business. What would you do for those around you? What would you do for yourself? What lifestyle would you begin to live? So for you, you're going to write down things. And it could be things like for you, I want to quit my part-time job. I want to, have more freedom in my life. I want to, whatever it is, I want to be able to earn enough to cover my car payment. I want to earn enough to cover my mortgage. whatever it is, just don't worry again how you're going to do it. Just start brainstorming things that you could you would want to do for yourself, okay? And then do that for others. For others, it could be things like it could be your family. I want to take my family to Disneyland. I want to take my family to Hawaii. I want to be able to spend more time with my kids, you know, by quitting, you know, my part-time job. I want to be able to spend more time with my kids. I want to, whatever it is, just start brainstorming all the things that you would want to be able to do for yourself and for others, family, friends. You know, for me, one of the things a couple of years ago, I went to Africa with Thrive Life, and we worked in the village of Mungano, and we helped build a school there and a water where we've now raised money for a water cistern, which they now have. One of my goals is to be able to go back to Mungano and spend a week or two there working with the people on other projects that they need done. It was one of the highlights of my life, and I want to be able to do that again. And so that's one of my compelling reasons. A compelling reason could also be maybe it's not so monetary. Maybe it's that I want to share, you know, Ruby and these amazing products with more people. I want to help people improve their lives, their health, you know, whatever it is for you. Just brainstorm and come up with those. Okay. So the next thing you're going to want to do is go to My Promise. And you're going to download these, and what you're going to do is you're going to plug in the numbers from the worksheet that we did at the beginning. So this is basically a commitment you're making. In the next 12 months, I will grow my business by, number one, increasing the number of consultants. And let's say that we said it was, I don't remember what it was, but let's just say it was 200% from 10 to 20. And I think that's actually 100%. So you would either type in or write in these numbers. By increasing the number of consultants by 100% from 10 to 20. And then you would do this for each area, increasing the number of team members by whatever that is, you know, 400%, I think we had, by, you know, whatever, increasing my number of customers by X% from whatever number you had this year to your goal for this coming year. I will increase my customer consultant average by, because we don't really know what that number is, but I will increase my customer average value by 10%, 20%, 30%, whatever it is. This will increase my business by more than, so let me go back to this sheet just so you can kind of see. So the number right here is how much it's going to increase your business by, this 1,100 or whatever it is. So you're going to plug in all these numbers. You know, I will increase my consultants by 100% from 10 to 20. I will increase my customer number by 500% from 30 to 180. That's probably unrealistic, but maybe. I will increase my average value of customer and consultant by 20% to 60, just by 20%. And I will increase my team by 100% from 30 to 60. Okay, so you're going to plug those numbers into that document. And then what I want you to do once you have all of those numbers down is print that off and look at it every day. Okay, that's your promise. This will increase my business by more than, again, that's going to be this number. So let's make this a little more realistic. Let's just say this was 100%. Okay, so this was, I want to go from 30 to 60. This will increase my business by 380%. So I would put that here. This will increase my business by 380%. This is done. Nothing will stop me. I am, and then pick a name or a adjective that you can think of. So when you look at this paper, you say, you know what, I'm invincible. Nothing's going to stop me. I am going to do this. I am Wonder Woman. I am Gladiator. I am whatever I am. The powerful word. This is something Tony Robbins teaches that helps us to get in the mindset of really believing and being that we can go out and achieve something and conquer something huge. Okay, taking massive action. So this is the commitment, the promise. Okay, so that's the next thing you're gonna do. Fill that in, print it off, and put it somewhere where you can look at it regularly. You go back and get rid of these. the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to figure out how we're going to do this, which is really the what, right? The what or the how. You can look at it either way. Now, we've set these goals without getting bogged down in the tyranny of the how. We've just put them down. We know that they're reasonable, but we don't know how we're going to do it. So what you're going to do in this exercise is you're going to brainstorm all the things that you could possibly do in order to accomplish your goals. Don't worry about the details, just get them down on paper and do this for each category. So for increasing your consultant number, what you're going to do here is you're just going to start brainstorming, what could I do to increase the number of consultants that I personally enroll this year? It could be, put up some ideas, if you have them. It could be, I'm going to do more expos. It could be, I'm going to contact everybody personally, on my Facebook group or my Facebook feed, my friends on Facebook. It could be, I am going to talk to 5 people every day about Thrive. Whatever, you just start brainstorming ideas. These are just ideas. These aren't things that you're actually going to do, but what you're going to do is get a whole bunch of things down on paper that you can then start looking at as things that you could do in order to increase the number of consultants, okay? Then you're going to look at what things can I do to increase the number of team members, okay? Levels 2 and 3. This could be, I'm going to do a kickoff meeting with every new consultant that I get and help them get their first consultant. Because we know that if someone gets a consultant or a team member, if they get a team member, they get a check, or they attend an event, or they get a paycheck, any of those things, they're very, very likely to stay in the business longer term, and they're very likely to share it with others. So that could be something. It's just like, I'm going to do a personal kickoff call with every new consultant I enroll. Or it could be, I am going to work one-on-one to help my new consultants hit fast track. Or it could be, I don't even know if we call it fast track anymore. I'm sorry about that. I know there have been so many changes recently and changes to that program, so I don't know if it's called that. But anyway, just start brainstorming things that you could do to increase the size of your team. It could be, I'm going to start doing a weekly team call. It could be, I'm going to create a Facebook group for my team, and we're going to interact there. It could be, I'm going to do a personal call, check-in call with everybody on my team every week. Whatever you come up with to increase the number of your team. Okay, you're going to brainstorm all those here. Then number of customers, same kind of thing. Whatever it is you're going to do to generate more customers, brainstorm that. And then same with increasing average value. So on this one, it could just be whatever the value is. And again, you probably don't have a number, but how could you increase the value that a customer or consultant or team member brings you? It could be for a customer by introducing them to new products. If they were introduced to Thrive through Ruby, you could maybe do YouTube videos, maybe you do emails with recipes on the Thrive, regular Thrive foods to get them, help people understand how to use those. It could be getting people who did a one-time order on deliveries. If it was consultants on your first level, it would be figuring out ways to help them get people on their team. If it's your entire downline or team, it could be the things we talked about before. If you help those people to create more sales, create larger teams, that's going to increase their value to you. So you're going to brainstorm these 4 areas and come up with all kinds of ideas that you can then use. And what you're going to do is you're just going to have this list of things. And then what we're going to start getting into next week and the weeks to come is how you just go about picking one of those things each week to work on. And we're going to go through this process where you go through a process of elimination. You find the ones that work and the ones that don't work, and the ones that work, you keep doing them. The ones that won't work, you toss aside and you try something new. And it's another very powerful way of creating this growth. So that's pretty much it. If you have any questions about this, chat them in here. But again, we're going to go, first thing you want to do is fill out this sheet, the exponential growth worksheet. Second thing you want to do, okay, go through and create, basically you're creating your why, all the compelling reasons why you want to achieve this. And then you're going to do the promise, okay? You're going to commit to yourself, and then you're going to print that out and put it someplace that you can read this regularly. Then you're going to figure out the what, how you're going to get there. And you're going to just, again, these aren't specifically things you absolutely will do. These are ideas, brainstorming. And then we're going to start talking about how to actually go in and choose the ones to work on. But if you will do this, then I assure you, you can create at least 30% growth in these areas. And if you do that, that's going to equate to over doubling your business. Now, if you're going from zero, you know, then you may go, you know, 400, 500, 600% growth this year. If you're going, you know, if you have a large team and you've been around a while, maybe doubling, you know, would be awesome. Or maybe even a 50% growth might be great. You know, it's individual for each person. But I really hope that you'll go through this exercise. I've done it for our Thrive business with Lisa, and I've done it for other businesses. And the person that taught me this is a very successful person who has multiple businesses. And he does this every quarter for every business that he has with his entire team. And he has seen his business, you know, all his businesses grow dramatically since he started doing this. And so thank you for being on here today. And I look forward to talking with you again next week. Have a great day.